eventually, like, you left town or something and you came back and the band had morphed into the Beastie Boys and MCA was there playing bass. Were you like, what the heck? Were you mad about it? Urban photographer and music writer Jeremy Shatan, photographer behind the Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique album cover. Welcome to the Dennis Ball Show, man.
Hey, thanks, Dennis. So glad to be here.
If I get you to laugh 3 times, you're going to tell us how you captured that iconic 360-degree image for the Paul's Boutique album cover. And I'm going to ask you about the band you were with Mike D that later became the Beastie Boys. Cool?
Oh, yeah.
Viewers, stick around for this story, man. It's amazing. And please click like if you like the video. And if you don't like it, click I don't like it. And don't forget to subscribe and stuff. It's a huge help to the channel. All right, hold it now. Hit it. Joke number 1. Did you hear about the chameleon who couldn't change colors, Jeremy?
No, I did not, Dennis.
He had a reptile dysfunction.
Ooh.
He had a reptile dysfunction. You laughed, man. That's a laugh.
I did laugh, yes.
Okay, good. All right, just making sure we're on the same page, man. All right, joke number 2. Never start a pillow fight with death, man. Because there'll be grim repercussions.
Ooh.
There'll be grim repercussions. Grim repercussions. That's a chuckle, which is a definite laugh.
That qualifies as a laugh.
Laughed like a true dad. Thank you. We're two jokes in. You're great, man. We're 2 jokes in and you're laughing. Joke number 3. Why don't dinosaurs make good pets, Jeremy?
Gee, I don't know, Dennis. Why don't dinosaurs make good pets?
Because they're dead, man. They're all dead, Jeremy.
That's actually kind of deep.
You're laughing again. Boom, 3.
I like to laugh.
You're probably great to have a beer with, I'm telling you. This joke number 4 reminds me of some of your photographs.
Okay.
I was dating this girl who was obsessed with fences, Jeremy. She had like a maze of fences around her house. I couldn't get past it, man. Had to break up. Like I literally couldn't get past it. I couldn't get past it.
She was playing defense.
She was... Nice! Joke number 5. Speaking of photography... My dad used to smack me over the head with a camera when he was mad at me, Jeremy.
Ouch.
I still have flashbacks.
Oof.
Still have flashbacks. But still, child abuse jokes aren't that great.
I'm worried more about the camera.
Joke number 6. What kind of bird doesn't know the words to its own song, Jeremy?
You got me, Dennis.
A hummingbird. A hummingbird. Okay, that's a no laugh. That's a no laugh. Okay. Joke number 7. This is the final joke.
All right, hit me.
I spent my entire life savings on pasta. It was worth every penny. It was Boom! Jeremy Shatan, that was fantastic. So you're an urban photographer, but you also happen to have shot one of the most iconic hip-hop album covers of all time, Paul's Boutique. Do you ever think to yourself, wow, I can't believe that happened?
I love the fact that we did it on our own terms. We did it DIY. We did it scrappy, punk rock in a way. And then it turned into this iconic thing.
And so basically you like met up with your friend Mike D from your previous band days, which we'll talk about in a second. And he was like, hey, this is my idea for the new album cover. And you were like, I know how to do that.
We were having lunch in Soho one day, and Mike's older brother was there, and we were kind of teasing Mike about something. So he quickly changed the subject and said, hey, we have this idea for our next album cover, but we don't really know how to make it happen. And I said, what do you want to do? He said, a 360-degree panorama in an intersection. I said, I can make that happen.
What kind of camera do you use for that in 1987?
You know, I don't remember the exact name of the camera, but it was a panoramic camera. It shot 120 film, and you wound it up. It literally was a wind-up camera, but a very, very expensive wind-up toy, if you will. You wound it up in one direction, and then when you pulled the trigger, it unwound in the other direction, and the film inside was moving
Right.
along with it. So you got maybe 2.5 360s on each roll of film.
Wow. And so, how long did it take to spin around? 2.5 seconds?
It probably took about a minute to go around.
That's cool, because actually when you look at the photo, it does not look like it's a long exposure. It looks like it's just a second in time. You know, and not everyone's posed there, right? Like, isn't Adam Yauk, MCA, skateboarding there down the street?
Yeah, so what we did, we actually shot it more like a film than a photograph in a sense, because I put the tripod in the middle of the intersection. You have to understand, we had no permits, nothing.
Yep.
We were just there early enough that there wasn't a lot of traffic. So I crouched under so I wouldn't be in the shot, and I was holding the cable release, and I would get it all set up, and I would call action like a film director, and I would pull the trigger, and then the Beastie Boys would perform. They were performing for this spinning camera, and they just jumped around and acted all like you see them on stage.
Right.
It was kind of a shock to me because I hadn't seen them act like that before, because I didn't see any of the License to Ill concerts. So I didn't know what their stage persona was like, but they went crazy. So I probably shot 25 rolls of film, because the thing about it is, with a spinning camera, you don't know what you're going to get, especially with people moving around. There's a lot left up to chance.
Yeah, there's like a bus coming down the street.
There's all kinds of stuff going on.
There's an old couple getting out of a car. Right, all those people are not actors, right? Just the Beastie Boys are the actors in this shot, right?
Nobody else, everybody else was just people who just were walking by.
Have any of them come out and said, "Hey, I was that guy"?
No, not to me. They might go to the Beastie Boys with it, but I certainly haven't heard that anybody said, "Hey, I was in that shot."
And now, you said that there were props, right? Because that's not a real store, obviously. Maybe not obviously.
Some people think it's a real store, but it's not. A friend of theirs made the sign, and then they brought all that stuff and made the store look like a Paul's Boutique of the Mind. Paul's Boutique was a clothing store in Brooklyn. We had never been there. We had only heard about it on the radio.
Hold on, it was a real place? You heard about it on the radio?
Paul's Boutique was a real store in Brooklyn. It was advertised on WLIB by the wonderful Gil Bailey, the great Jamaican DJ.
The best in men's clothing. Call Paul's Boutique.
So that clip is Gil Bailey talking?
Exactly. That's recorded off the radio.
And so they put their clothes out there, right? Is that their clothes on the hangers and
They
stuff?
put all their clothes, album covers.
There's 5 records on the floor there. I see Modern Lovers and Let's Stay Together by Al Green.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the other 3 records are?
Oh, man.
I can't tell.
There's one at the end that nobody can figure out.
Yeah, if you know, write it in the comments, please. Because I'm sure there was significance to what the records were. The other people pictured in the photo, all anonymous passers-by, except the 3 Beastie Boys are in there too, right?
That's correct. There's Yauk.
Yeah.
There's Ad Rock. And that's Mike D right there. Somehow he got caught looking straight at the camera. One of my favorite parts of the shot is the lens flare.
It's the biggest lens flare in hip-hop history, I suspect.
I think you are right.
I'll say it so you don't have to. Let's rewind time to back before the Beastie Boys formed. You were one of Mike D's punk rock friends in high school, right?
Yes, although we were friends before we were into punk rock.
And you hung out with John Barry and Kate Shellenbach, later the drummer for Luscious Jackson. And you guys were in a band called the Young Aborigines, is that right?
That's right. The Young Aborigines kind of started when I put Mike and John together and said, you guys should make music. And Mike played drums and John played guitar. So I got a bass for my birthday, and we started jamming, and we called ourselves the Young Aborigines.
Who were your early influences?
So it was a combination of Public Image, Gang of Four, Susie and the Banshees, also salsa, reggae, dub reggae, just all the different things we listened to. You know, we tried to make it cutting edge. We wanted it to be different.
You have recordings of the band, which will most likely never see the light of day.
That's very true, Dennis. We
Is that
recorded
right?
a lot on John Barry's boombox. The tapes that we made in John Barry's loft are actually very, very clear. And they would tell you what the band sounded like. But unfortunately, because of legal issues, I would have to get everybody interested in doing that. And I'm not sure how interested people are in doing that. Maybe it's better that it remains a myth.
There's one song by your band that did come up on YouTube, right? The one where Mike's on vocal,
A-Hole.
right?
I love that song. I think it's really funny. And I wrote it on guitar. I don't play guitar. I was just doing bar chords. And then it came up with the chorus, which was just the word asshole. And the lyrics consisted of Mike D insulting everyone in the band while I was going, you know. That is the first time that I remember Mike D getting on the mic, because that was pre-Beastie Boys.
You could even say it was pre-Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys, I like that.
Right.
Kate Shellenbach played bass on that song, and John Barry played drums. It was very, very sloppy.
Eventually, like, you left town or something and you came back and the band had morphed into the Beastie Boys, is that correct? And MCA was there playing bass. Were you like, what the heck? Were you mad about it?
There was overlap between the Young Aborigines and the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys would rehearse, and then we would rehearse.
Oh, that's cool. So you didn't feel too mad about them having another band yet.
Right.
I'm not trying to push that. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, man.
At the time, it did feel a little bit like I was pushed to the side, but I also wanted to go to college. There were other things I wanted to do.
Yeah, yep.
I became an interested spectator. I went to, I don't know, maybe a dozen concerts at CBGB and 171A and Max's Kansas City. I saw all those shows, and I thought it was so cool.
And then, so when you saw the blow up, did that blow your mind?
Oh, yeah, that really blew my mind.
But then when Paul's Boutique came out, they played you a couple of songs when you were doing the photo shoot, right? Like before it came out. Did you think it sounded cool and fresh and different?
Oh, yeah, yeah. We were in the car because we shot 2 locations that day. So we were in the car, and they put in the unmixed, unmastered cassette of Paul's Boutique, and I was like, yes, you guys, this is what we need. This is the sound of our, not only of our youth, but of today, because it was songs we heard on the radio when we were kids, and they were cutting it all together, obviously with the help of the Dust Brothers, who played a big role in making that music, but I instantly loved it.
But then it didn't have the commercial success that License to Ill had. Did that shock and surprise you?
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
I think it's a better record, personally.
It's a way better record than License to Ill. It's the Sgt. Pepper's of hip-hop, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was a little ahead of its time with all the samples.
Speaking of bands, you blog about music for an Earful blog, which is your own blog. I mean, you say you write about other things, but really it's mostly in-depth music reviews.
I am as obsessed with music as I was when Mike D and I were going record shopping in 1979. I just always have to know what's going on, and I try to share it with people so that they catch up with it. Even in this day and age, it's very hard for people to find the music that they like.
And so on that note, I'm going to ask you to recommend to Beastie Boys fans, what's a new record out right now that they should check out?
This, I would say, is the perfect record for the grown-up Beastie Boys fan. This is Ted Hearn and Saul Williams. It's an album called Place. It's a mixture of hip-hop, jazz, rock, classical, and they just blend it all together in this passionate way to tell a story about injustice, but they do it in a way that's just so powerful it doesn't feel like they're preaching. So I highly recommend Place by Saul Williams and Ted Hearn. It's really great.
Thanks for being on the show, Jeremy, and sharing with us all this cool information, this great story about a legendary record that you were a part of and a moment in music history that you were right there for, which is amazing.
Thanks so much, Dennis. This was a lot of fun.
And viewers, check out this other video. It is so good. You're not going to believe how awesome it is. It's awesome. Go ahead, click on it.